Now I'd like to introduce to you two of my friends with whom I work closely here in Brooklyn, Isaac and Jean Murray. It's nice to have you both along here. Now, originally, Saki and Jean were from South Africa, but they were assigned to the United States back in 1981. Saki, could we ask you first of all, what are some of the challenges that you and Jean have faced in your life?
We have faced a number of challenges. Two that come to mind is changing continents, going to live in another continent, and when Jean was diagnosed with cancer about 10 years ago.
Well, they sound like difficult challenges. Let's just start with that first one. Why was it difficult for you to move from South Africa to the United States?
Well, on the surface, it may sound like a simple matter. But when you deal with cultural issues and you take into consideration your own imperfection, flaws, lack of experience, it can become very challenging. Looking back, it wasn't all that difficult. But in the process, we learned some wonderful lessons.
Well, would you mind telling us a few of those lessons that you learned?
Well, we know Jehovah's chariot is on the move. But Jehovah does not deal with these people en masse. We do not behave like an army. We dress the same, walk the same, go through the same routines, boot camp, demanding every last drop of blood. No, Jehovah deals with us very kindly and individually, personally. He deals with all the issues of the universe. At the same time, he deals with us as individuals. Makes us think of the Israelites. When they came out of Egypt, they went through the Red Sea. There were Jehovah's people, millions of them, older people, babies, young people. Bearing down on them was the military machine of Egypt. Yet Jehovah took every single one of them safely through the Red Sea. Jehovah cares not only on an objective level, but personally. He is like a loving father. He's interested in our fears, our feelings of inadequacy or inability. At the same time, though, he listens very carefully to us. Are we willing to obey? Are we willing to learn? Are we willing to listen to him? And it matters to him very, very much. The bottom line is this: Jehovah God gives us the privilege to be able to say, he is our friend. And for imperfect people, that is the greatest achievement, to be able to say, Jehovah is my friend. Coping with our own imperfections is one thing, but coping with life-threatening situations can be very difficult.
Well, we appreciate very much those excellent lessons you referred to, but it seems that you're talking now about Jean's situation. So, Jean, could we just ask you, when you were diagnosed with having cancer, how did you feel and how were you able to cope with that?
Well, it was a shock. I have to be quite frank about that. And the treatments that followed were very harsh, so it made life difficult. And I really came face to face with my own mortality. But what helped me were two things. And the first was the love and care of my brothers and sisters. I felt as if they helped me, they supported me, and as if Jehovah was using them to assure me that he loved me, almost like he was giving me a hug through them. That's how I really felt. And the second thing that helped me a lot was thinking about the men and women in the Bible, because life for them was not easy. It was challenging, but through all their trials, they managed to grow, they managed to improve on their relationship with Jehovah. And I especially love the example of Job, because he went through trials, many, many trials, that much more than I ever faced. But at the end of all his trials, he said something interesting. May I read it from the Bible?
Please, we'd love to hear it.
This is in Job 42, verse 5. It says, "My ears have heard about you, but now I do see you with my eyes." And Job said these words, "I see you with my eyes," when he was in this physical state of sickness, and Jehovah hadn't cured him yet. And yet he was able to move his focus from himself onto Jehovah and onto his sovereignty. He realized it wasn't all about him, it was about Jehovah's sovereignty. And honestly, that's a lesson I needed to learn. I had to learn it's not just all about me, it's about Jehovah's will and Jehovah's sovereignty. And in addition to all these trials and learning that lesson, it's really an opportunity to grow, and an opportunity to be trained by Jehovah, an opportunity to be corrected by him. And yet I knew if I really loved Jehovah, I really love him, he will never abandon me.
Well, those comments are so beautiful. Thank you so much for being willing to share those personal insights and to help us with those lessons. Well, we've really appreciated hearing that experience, haven't we?